It says starting. So let's
It says live.
see. Is it live?
It says it.
Oh gosh, but I don't see the questions. Let me see. Maybe if I go Oh gosh. Yeah. All right. Can people see me? If you can see me, can you put it in the chat that you can see me? I'm like, someday I'm gonna get this, I swear. Let's see. You're live. Okay, hi everyone. Yay. Okay. So, oh boy. All right, cool. All right, here we are. Hi guys. Many of you know me. I'm Hannah, and I'm the kitten lady. And I'll let you introduce yourself and talk about who you are and where you came from today.
My name is Danielle. I'm from the great first state of Delaware. I've been following Hannah on Instagram for a little while now.
When did you start following?
I think
Who was the first kitten you ever saw?
I think I started following right around when you adopted Finn out, I think.
Oh, so recently.
Yeah, fairly recently.
Cool.
And
cool.
I've have been obsessed and fallen in love, and I tell like all my friends, yeah, this is really cool lady, and she rescues kittens. And then I've been wanting. I have a cat already. She's 6 years old, and I've had her since she was a kitten. And I've been wanting a friend for her, and I always feel bad when I go to work and she's home alone all day.
Yeah.
So
has she been around other cats?
Yeah. So for a while, I was living with my dad, and he has 2 cats. So she's socialized the cats. She's hung around a dog. She's been around people. She's a big scaredy cat, but she's.
Well, Beignet is like the least threatening kitten I think I've ever seen. Sometimes I get kittens that are very hissy and aggressive. Like right now I have in the back room, I didn't even introduce you to them yet, but I have like Banjo, Fiddle, and then I have Munchkin. If you guys are following all of my kittens, you know who they are. So like Banjo is very in your face. Like she's she probably would scare your cat. She's very like, hey, what are you doing? And Beignet is the opposite. She doesn't even upset my cats. And my cats hate everyone. But my cats like her just fine because she's so chill. She's just like, listen, I'm just trying to be alive and be happy. And, you know, she went through so much. When she first came here, I was thinking there was like a 50% chance she was going to survive because she was so thin. She was very emaciated. Actually, she's probably one of the most emaciated kittens that I've seen. So it's amazing how much can happen in just 2 weeks. What are you doing? And now she's playing. But she was like, it's hard to see in the photos because she was, she looks fluffy. Yeah. But she was like, if you felt her, you just wanted to cry because it was like just bones. And now you can feel, let's show everybody your big belly. Now she's got a big belly on her. Look at that belly. She's like a normal kitten now. Yeah. So, you know, when you have an emaciated kitten like that, it's like it was ribs and then it just went in. She's like, hey, put me back on that lap. She knows where she wants to be. Look at her. She's like, hang on, I'm comfy over here. You leave me alone. She's like playing with hair. She's playing with toys, which is awesome to see because she was so emaciated, she just would kind of like sit there and then I would give her fluids every few hours. She was totally dehydrated, and now she's so sweet. She does try to play with my cats, but they don't really want to play with her. So I'm happy that she'll have a friend, hopefully, that will want to be friends back. All right. So how's everybody doing out there? Are you guys... I think that there's a little bit of a lag, but if anybody has questions, you can put questions in the chat bar and I will be reading them. To remind everybody where Beignet came from, she was part of a feral cat colony. So, cats live outside, and if they're not spayed, then they give birth, which is why I'm a big fan of trap, neuter, return, which is where you go out and spay cats that are outdoors so that they're not giving birth. She was born outdoors and she was part of a litter of other kittens. And unfortunately, she just ended up becoming very, very emaciated. And I was asked to take care of her so that I could help fatten her up, since what I do best is focus on kittens all day and night. So I took her in, and I spent a lot of time with her over the last 2 weeks. So that's her story, but she just, all of a sudden, maybe 5-6 days ago, I looked at her and I was like, you know what? You look fine now. She looks like a normal kitten. She looks really good. So she's going into foster to adopt. And I'll show you guys what that looks like if you're wondering. So this is, I'm not going to show your information, but this is a foster to adopt contract. And what it basically means is that Danielle is taking over fostering for her until she's big enough to be spayed. She's actually old enough to be spayed, but she's too thin. They have to be healthy and over 2 pounds, and she's we could weigh her on here and see what she's at. Live weigh-in. But like when I first got her, she was about 1 pound, and she should have been closer to 2 pounds. Now I think she's probably more like 1.5 pounds or maybe even more. But basically, nobody gets a cat from me without them being spayed, unless they are basically taking over fostering for me, which is foster to adopt. So Danielle will be taking over fostering for her, and then once she's spayed, then she'll become property of Danielle. Of course, I hate looking at animals as property, but that is, for legal purposes, how this stuff works. So we just signed her foster to adopt contract, which is really exciting. So now Beignet will be living in Delaware. Not too far, though. It's like an hour
and a half.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
Everybody loves the beignet. Did you guys know how to say beignet? I had so many people commenting being like, how do you pronounce that? Is it Beignet? I'm like, I don't know if you guys know what a beignet is, right? You're all online, so you can Google it. It's like a delicious
They're good.
pastry,
Like a donut, kind of.
deep fried with lots of powdered sugar on it, right? I am vegan, so I can't have, like, when I go to New Orleans, there's always like have you been to New Orleans?
Mm-hmm.
There's like that one coffee place everyone goes and gets beignets. It's like famous. Some coffee place, and I can't have them because I don't eat animal products, but there is a place in New Orleans called, I want to say Seed, and it's like a vegan restaurant, and they have vegan beignets, and they're like, oh my God, I will eat like so many.
Café du Monde.
Café du Monde, there you go. Yeah, so I go there, and then I'm like, well, I don't drink coffee, and I can't have the beignets, so I guess I'll just sit here and enjoy being, I mean, it's a really cute place, but Seed is where I always go to get vegan beignets when I'm there. Is Beignet going to be an indoor cat or an outdoor cat?
Indoor.
Indoor
100%.
cat. Yeah, she doesn't look like too much of an outdoor cat to me, even though she was outside. She was kind of living on a porch. But looking at her now, it's kind of funny to picture because she's so into the indoor life. So she'll be indoor. Let's see if we have any other. Yes, but I'm French. Okay, so all the French people know how to say beignet. Everybody else is like, Beignet? How does that work? Let's see. What is she now eating? I should tell you guys about my beignet blend. So I kind of, when I had her, when I was first caring for Beignet and trying to just get her to eat, I should have grabbed a bunch of stuff so I could show you, but I have these curved syringes, and it's basically, it's a syringe, and then on the end of it, instead of it being straight, it's kind of curved, and it helps you put it in their mouth. She's so sleepy. Oh my God. You put it in their mouth, and then you're like slowly syringe feeding them. I do have information, and I think a YouTube video about how to syringe feed. But what I was giving her is I use the Wellness wet food for kittens. So kittens have to have special food. So kitten food, and then I mix that with Pedialyte. Not like the orange or like fruit punch stuff. They don't want that, but just plain Pedialyte. And I mix those two things. And then for her, I also mixed NutriCal for kittens. If you guys don't know what NutriCal is, it's awesome. It's like it comes in what looks like a tube of toothpaste, but it's basically it's a high-calorie supplement. So I mixed that with the food and with the Pedialyte, and then I was syringe feeding that to her. And that was the blend that helped her put on weight. Now she really just eats the wet wellness food is what she likes. She has, if you guys watched my videos, you saw she has her little crunchies. I did like a video of Coco stealing her kitten crunchies. So I always put out both, especially with very underweight kittens, just so that they have constant access to food. Because like I said, I think to you before, like if you're a person who feeds your cat on a schedule, if you have a kitten, or especially like a underweight kitten, you don't want to feed them, you don't want to withhold food from them ever. So I do feed her wet food on a schedule, but dry food I just give her access to all day because I want her to be gaining as much weight as possible. Since I started following you, I've seen spay neuter at 2 months and 2 pounds. Is this common in the United States? So yeah, so early age spay neuter is, I think, very important, especially for rescues and shelters, because the longer that you have to wait to spay them, the longer you have to have them, which I was just kind of talking about. I think like that pretty much the reason that I do foster to adopt is so that once they're well, they can get into another home so that I can take on more. So pediatric spay neuter is really cool because it helps kind of get them going, but it's also good for a few other reasons. It's easier for them to recover afterwards, and it also is a sure bet that they're not going to give birth themselves, because if you can believe it, at just 4 months old, they can get pregnant and have babies. What are you doing? She's so happy. She's happy. Well, at least she's chilling where we can see her and not like running around. So yeah, so I definitely do not advise waiting until 6 months because they can get pregnant by then. They can go into heat and get pregnant, and you don't want that. So 2 months, 2 pounds is great. For her, I was actually talking to Danielle about maybe waiting just a little bit longer for her, like 2.5 pounds, just because of all she's been through. I want to make sure she's super sturdy and that weight is on her bones, like she's got some meat on her bones before she goes in for spay surgery. So she'll probably get spayed in July sometime. Okay. My boy was neutered at 9 weeks in the UK. Yeah, so when should I spay my 10-week-old? Anytime. Hopefully soon, before they hit 4 months at least, because then they can get pregnant. Okay, let's see. A lot of people want to snuggle her. Her name should be changed to Princess Beignet.
Me can take issue with that. She's been the princess.
Oh, yeah. Why don't you tell us about your cat? How did you get your cat, and what's she like?
It's kind of a funny story. So I got my cat 6 years ago. It was right after I had moved out for college. I had my own apartment. My mom was allergic, so I always wanted a cat but couldn't have one. I just used Pet Finder and found a woman who had kittens up for adoption. And when I went to get her, it was in this really nice neighborhood, and we were driving around looking for her address, and amidst all these really nice houses was just this random trailer. And we drove by, and I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if that's where these kittens were?
Oh,
and we were driving around for a couple more minutes, and I'm like, oh, God, that is where they are.
Was she fostering, or had she?
No, it was just someone who had never spayed their cat.
Yeah, so that's an interesting thing. Like, this is why it's so important, because a lot of people are like, wait, but don't you love kittens and you want there to be more kittens? And I'm like, well, I love kittens, but I don't want there to be more of them, because there are so many kittens dying in animal shelters. A lot of people don't know this. Animal shelters are full this time of year, and a lot of them are euthanized. So that's why I always talk about spay neuter. You gotta spay and neuter your cats. And if they are not spayed or neutered, then the best thing to do is find homes for the kittens, and then spay them. Spay them. Hopefully she saved the cat afterwards.
Or her cat, I honestly, Mika is spayed.
But yeah.
And then she's been with me ever since. She's very shy.
Oh.
Like when I have.
How old was she when you got there?
Gosh, gosh, I don't even know.
Bigger or smaller than this?
She was a little bigger than this.
Oh my God, Beignet.
And
She looks like she's in heaven.
She's so, and whenever I bring over people, she hides. She runs for the hills. But once you're around her for a
that's
little
like my
while,
Eloise. Like, you won't see Eloise anymore.
yeah,
You
you wouldn't think I had a cat if you came over to my apartment because she will not let you see her. But once she like warms up to you, she's so needy. She wants attention all the time. She wants scritches all the time.
Oh,
It's so cute when you scratch like right behind her tail. She'll start licking.
Oh,
she goes crazy.
I had a rabbit for 11 years, and she would do that. She had this spot, if you like scratched her butt, where she would like lick her dewlap. You know what dewlap is? Dewlap is like on bunnies. They have this like area, like area where they store fat in their neck. It looks like I don't know. It's just this big fat thing in their neck, and she would lick her dewlap if you scratched her butt. People are asking if they can see her a little closer, so maybe we can. I feel bad, like she's so comfy. Why are you so comfy? There she is. We just wiped her nose down because she was so into her lunch that she had food all over her nose. Look how pretty she is.
She is.
Don't you guys love her? She's just like, I keep saying she doesn't have a bad bone in her body. And you can see the profile of her face. I love her, with the profile of her nose. She has like a popular girl nose. You know what I mean? It kind of like sticks up. Show them the profile. See? My cat has a very Roman nose. She has like a bump. She's got like a popular girl nose. What are you doing? She's like, I'm going to be extra cute since I'm having my close-up. Everybody's asking where I found Beignet, so I think that maybe some people missed it, but I'll just remind everybody again, Beignet was outside living on a porch, so that was where she was found, and the reason that happens is because people need to spay and neuter cats, whether they're your pet cat, whether they're outside cat that you don't own. Even if you see a cat outside, spay that cat, otherwise all their kittens come to my house, and I cannot take all of them, so definitely make sure that you spay and neuter those cats that are outside. Popular girl knows, LOL. I know, she's just like a pretty cat. So we'll take a few more questions, and let's see. Oh my God, everybody just loves her. Oh, does everybody know that you can go follow her online? Hopefully you do. I've been tagging pictures with her her username, Baby Beignet. If you don't know how to spell it, don't worry, just go to my page and click on it. But she'll have her own page because I know everybody loves that, and you'll be able to see her, and you'll be able to see her new sister. Hopefully they'll be able to.
Yeah, I think somebody asked about socializing kittens with
to the new cat.
Yeah.
So I'll just let you guys hear what I always say to people when they're adopting from me. Oh my gosh, she's like, hey, I'm playing. So there's a few things that I always tell people when they're introducing a kitten to a cat. One is that it's very likely that there will be hissing at first. So I always tell people, don't be discouraged. Like, don't get home and then be like, oh my God, my cat hates her. Oh my God. So do you see what's happening here?
Throw out my hairbrush.
Yeah, you don't need a hairbrush anymore. You got a new one. Oh my gosh, I totally lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Socializing cats, yes. So when you're introducing them, I always say, like, don't take them home and then be like, oh my God, my cat hates the kitten, I gotta bring her back, or something like that. Because usually it's pretty common for there to be up to a few weeks of a transition period. There's transition for, look at these feet, are you kidding me? She's so distracting. People are always like, how do you get anything done? And then I'm like, you know, with a kitten like this, I have no idea. Yeah, so there might be a transition period, but you know, I generally recommend when you get a kitten home to put them in one room first. So just pick a room that can be kind of their space. And that could be a bedroom. It could even be your bathroom, just for a night to get them, okay, I'm in a new space. And then it also helps them learn the litter box, which is the other thing. Litter box training is not really a thing. There's no training. It's just letting them know where it is. So if you put them in one room at first, it kind of gives them an opportunity to get to know, like, okay, here's where the litter box is. I'm in a new place. Smells a little bit different here. And then you can slowly introduce them. But I always tell people, don't feel like it has to be so slow. Like, some people will do, like under the door, or, things like that, which is great. But, I would show them to each other, let them smell each other, supervised at first. I wouldn't just put them in a room together and then leave. But supervised, but definitely consistently, showing them to each other so they can get used to each other. You can also feed them next to each other, which is a good way for them to be like, okay, not in the same bowl, but close enough to each other that they're like, all right, I can eat, she can eat, we can be in the same space comfortably. Toys are another good way to get them to kind of be like next to each other, but they're focused on something else, so they get used to each other that way. Okay. One person is asking a lot of times, how old do you have to be to volunteer in an animal shelter? It depends on where you live. Just call your local animal shelter and ask them. I do not know your local shelter. How old are kittens when you know they won't get fading kitten syndrome? So, I mean, fading kitten syndrome, it's really a set of symptoms. It is a syndrome. So it's lethargy, weight loss, muscle wasting, where basically like their bodies kind of start to eat their muscles, dehydration. These are all things that you see typically in more vulnerable kittens, much more common the younger they are. Once they're over like 12 weeks, you're not going to see those symptoms at all at the rate that you do with really young kittens. Usually fading kittens I see are like, under 8 weeks old. For her, fading kitten syndrome really looked like emaciation was the main thing for her, emaciation and dehydration. So there's a lot of cool things that we do to try to bring them back. She got subcutaneous fluids, but she also got plasma therapy, which is basically, it's almost like a blood transfusion, but it's just the plasma layer of blood that's taken out of another cat, and then it is given to her. And that is full of all sorts of the good stuff that they need to help them recover. She's so sleepy.
She goes from being crazy.
She's like, I'm playing, and that was a lot of energy. I gotta go to sleep. Hopefully she'll be good on the drive then. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a few more questions, and then I'm gonna let you hit the road since you've got an hour and a half drive ahead of you. Let's see. Okay. We've got a lot of questions that are not really related to this. And if you guys have questions about like your own cats and their health or adult cat stuff, I really recommend one, going to the vet. I get a lot of questions from people that are like, my adult cat is bleeding. What do I do? And I'm like, go to the vet. Don't ask some girl from the internet. Go to the vet. If you have medical questions, go to the vet, please. If you have behavior questions about your adult cat, I really recommend my friend Jackson Galaxy. You might know him from television. I've actually never seen his show because I don't own a television. I don't have a ton of time to watch television, but Jackson is a wonderful cat advocate, and you can watch his show, which is called My Cat from Hell, but he also has a great website that is full of behavior resources about cats, so I recommend that. And yeah, so the last question, I'll just wrap up again and answer it. Yes, she's going to have an Instagram account. It's Baby Beignet. So you can go on mine and you can find her on there. But we're going to wrap it up here and let Beignet move on to her new place. And I'm going to be traveling next week. So you know, all of my babies, I have 3 more babies that are still here, Munchkin, Banjo, and Fiddle. All of them are going to be going into a temporary foster home while I'm traveling. I'm going to be doing a workshop in Miami. So I don't know if anybody from Miami is watching, but if you are, please come to my workshop next week. And then I come home for one night, and then I go to New York and I teach workshops there. So if you're in New York or Miami, I hope I'll be seeing you next week. Oh my God, are you kidding? She's outrageous. She is outrageous. You are so funny. This is how she was this morning. But see, then she's starting to get a little bit
Belly trap
too. Belly trap. Yeah, so I'll be keeping up with Danielle though. In fact, one of the things on my contract is that until they're spayed, she has to talk to me whenever I want to talk to her, just so that I can keep up and make sure that everything's going well. She's gaining weight and all that. So we'll still be in touch. I'll still post about her probably, but if you want to follow her daily stuff, you can follow her on @BabyBeignet. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you follow me on all my stuff. I have an Instagram that you probably know about. It's @KittenXLady. I also have Facebook, which is just facebook.com/KittenXLady. If you like these videos, you can subscribe. So go on my YouTube channel, which you're on right now, and hit subscribe, and that's going to tell you whenever I post a new video. I post sometimes really fun stuff and sometimes really educational stuff about kittens. So please go on there and check it out. And we're going to say goodbye to baby Beignet. So let's give everybody one more nice look at her, and then you can follow her online. So goodbye from sweet little Beignet, and thank you guys so much for caring about her, because I care a ton about this kitten too. So 3 cheers for Beignet, who went through so much and now is going to have a wonderful life. Thank you guys so much for your support, and I will see you out there on the interwebs. Bye.